Hi everyone, this is Mattjestic Gaming and I'm here to bring you another quick guide for the many part series of my auto chess guide. So let's get this game going. And yeah, to start off with this game, this is a high rank game, Rook 5 or Rook 5 plus game. And in this game I'll be addressing a few things that we have discussed previously, which is what happens to the goblin build when things don't work correctly, or what happens to the goblin build in the mid game when everyone catches up with the combos and synergies and we actually force off really badly in the mid game when we don't get goblin techies. Because to be honest, most of my game, half of my game, I am not finding techies and I'm having really big trouble in the mid game around 20 to 25 and even a bit after that. So in this particular game, most of the sound were muted, so what we're focusing on is the gameplay and some of the decision making that I want to show you guys. This is a really interesting strategy that a friend of mine and I discovered by spying on the top players, the top 10 players, the Chinese players in the world, and we really looked through some of their replay history to realize they have so many 3 stars and to realize what they're doing correctly to guarantee their chances of becoming top 3 player most of the games. So yeah, I'm really happy and excited to be sharing this with you guys, and let's get started. So I started with an axe and a starter. In this game I didn't plan to go into goblins, and yeah, as we can see on the 3rd row, that's when I decided to go goblins, because when we got 4 goblins, you know, you kind of have to take them early game powerhouse goblins because they're so great at winning early games, and if you get them to 2 stars they will take you into a win streak most of the time. And yeah, Joseph Jr. here is a friend of ours and he's world top 20 previously, same as me when the ranking was first released as queen, and this is his alt as well, so he kind of spotted me because I always played goblins back then, and he was joking about being good at goblins because he knows about me. So yeah, I think the recording is fine. I'm just going to double check the recording for one moment, simply because previously we had some issues with the recording and I made a mistake by muting my voice while I was coughing and forgot to unmute it after. So yeah, I'm going to summarize this part pretty quickly, so for those who has tuned in, and because I'm live streaming this is the very start of the game, and right now everything is similar to my previous guide. I'm actually rolling a few times in the early game to be scoring a few of the crucial goblins. So as you can see, I didn't get anything on my 4th row. I'm going to show you over here. So on my 4th row I wrote empty, I didn't get anything. So what I instantly does is I'm looking for a clock. I buy the enchantress, rolls once, got a clockwork which was lucky, and we also got an axe. And the next few rows I'll be doing the same thing. I'm actually rolling on level 4 instead of leveling up on level 4. So over here I rolled again and I got an axe, a beastmaster, and another clock. So here I look quite strong with 2 star units, and yeah, because of the clock we managed to win this fight. And over here we got a bounty, and right now I'm looking for another bounty because I know rolling for bounty at this early game has great chances of getting a bounty, which we didn't get. And we got a timber, and we got another tinker. So I'm fast forwarding the early game because a lot of people are saying the early game is pretty much the same. It is, and this pretty much follows my initial goblin guide of rolling early. But one thing I want to point out, which I'm fast forwarding now, I did get a tinker and another bounty. So right now we have 4 2-star units on the board, which makes us really strong when we face other people with 5 units that are not 2-star. So we know this might be falling off. So what do we do right now is we level up at this point, and as you can see, after this round we're looking at 4 over 8 XP, and we're going to level up again, following almost identically to my first goblin guide of how goblins are rolling. So this part is fine. Everything goes through pretty smoothly as the goblin build goes, and we've got some top rows with 2 timber right now. And as you can see, I'm chatting with Philip about the tournament that I missed out because of the MMR lock. I have had three queen accounts, and I've been playing a lot of odds lately to test builds to practice for the tournament. The sign up was, there was a deadline, but before the deadline the Chinese developers turned off the MMR monitor, and I was having trouble to get into the tournament sign up because of that. So yeah, that aside, what I want to show you guys is right now it's going with plan. Right now I have a win streak, and I'm going to lose the win streak very soon because we do fall off in this a bit later in the game. And right now I'm 100% because I have rerolled early for the key units I needed to 2-star. And we got lucky again, we got a timber. So right now we're sitting pretty comfortably, so I would think. But here is when the challenge really comes. He had a Shadow Thing, a Necro, and he had the Bounty. That's like my Shadow Thing. So we lost this fight. And the moment we lost this fight, we lost our winning streak. And because we wasn't sitting a lot of savings, that was really devastating. Because most of our gold was spent in terms of rerolling. And if we were rerolling, we weren't saving. So right now we have less economy than other players, but we still have some of the stronger units than other players. So I'm going to skip a little further. So as you can see, we haven't been winning all of our fights, and we've been losing to elementals because they're so damn strong when they stun you randomly. And you know, just my RNG, we always get stunned. So I'm looking around here. So again, I'll be fast forwarding those few fights because I think most of us knows what happens around those time, and there isn't anything that interesting. So I'm gonna pause right here after this rearrangement. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna pause right here. Okay. So this is the first thing. This is the start of the actual strategy. As you can see right now, I only have kept one Beastmaster because that's the only one I have found. And now I have a lot of goblins saved up. Usually in my previous guides, I have talked to you guys about that I don't value anything but 2-star Tinker that much because I sell all my other Tinkers so I can balance the savings or replace it with other value units. Say Crayon Pain, a Shadow Thing, a Razor, any other things. But this time I have kept all the goblins that came across me without selling one of them. Not even for savings, not for anything. This is because we're looking at 3-star goblins. And if we're looking at 3-star goblins, we want every goblins we can find. To keep you guys updated, currently Philip Jr. is also running goblins. And he has 2-star Clockwork already. And I'm pretty close to a 2-star Timber. So right now we're basically stealing the goblin pool from each other. Nobody else is going goblins, but there's 2 very focused players that are getting goblins. So the pool is not that wide for me. So it's not that I'm the only one that's taking goblins, but this strategy still works regardless if he's taking goblins or not. So let me quickly brief you on what's going to happen. I'll be saving my gold to 50. And it's acceptable if I lose from 85% health to lower health. And while I'm losing, I'll try to get a win streak or lose streak, that's just bonus. And if I don't get those, that's acceptable, because I'm okay with losing a bit of health. What's going to happen is, as I get interest above 50, and of course I'll be taking value units that I need and any other things, as I get gold above 50, I'll be looking forward to level myself up to level 8. And once level 8 hits, that's when the magic happens. Let's keep going. So I'm gonna skip a little forward because yeah, here we're losing some and we're gonna win some as well. And yes, with wolves, you kind of want to rearrange your units, but this time I knew I was strong enough that we didn't rearrange our units. So as you can see, we hit another timber and another bounty, which is great because this really fits into the strategy of getting 3-star goblins. I'm gonna give all my damage out with the Shadow Thing, which is a very small egg basket with only 450 health. I'm going to skip a few times so we don't spend too much time looking at the, I guess, unnecessary replays of the fights. So right now we're looking at round 17 and I'm losing some, winning some because some people that goblins just counters. There's other like druids and elves that really punishes us right now. But thankfully I think there's only 1 or 2 druids and elf player, which is okay. So as you can see, I'm keeping all the goblins that came across to me. And although I'm not using all of them, I'm keeping them in the storage. So my storage is prioritized. Here, let me pause for a moment. I was chatting with Philip again in the game, but what I'm prioritizing is goblins, Shadowthing, Razors, Lone Druid, Alchemist, Beastmaster. So those are the units I'm prioritizing. And if I get too many of those, what I'll do is, again, I might be selling my Tinker, but that's only if I'm not close to getting a 3-star Tinker. Right now, I'm 4 Tinkers away from a 3-star Tinker. As you can see, my gold has gained steadily. I haven't been spending because I haven't been getting any crazy rolls. So, you know, when you're not getting any good rolls, you actually manage to save some gold. Now, I'm slowly leveling myself to level 8. While I see goblins, I combine goblins. I'm keeping Queen of Pain for the additional burst damage that we're lacking. So what I want to do is, okay, I'm going to skip a little here, and we're going to lose a few, and I lost this one as well. As you can see, this early game start that we started, okay, let me get back over here. Yeah, as you can see, this early game start that we started to do, this early game start was consistent of actual goblin start, and we're pretty lucky with the clockwork and timber, I have to say, that this early game start really set the stage for us to get 3-star goblins, and this entire guide of strategy is about getting 3-star goblins. This early game start is great for 2 reasons. One is that our initial start is great before round 20 usually. We will lose some, we'll win some, but our positioning and our health positioning will be pretty high. It's when we hit round 20 and to 25 and onwards, it's when that hits, and when we don't get goblins, techies, we really start to lose the game massively. But this strategy really stops us from losing that heavily. And we'll see. On this round, it's a neutral round. I'm waiting for my savings gold, and next round, I'll be getting to level 8. So this is round 21, and this is the highlight of this replay. So what's going to happen from round 21 to round 31 is we're going to stay on level 8, not spending 1 gold leveling up. We'll be rolling entirely on our savings and even into the savings if we feel that we're desperate with health. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine all the goblins that came across us, keep all of them. The aim is to get 3-star goblins. And meanwhile, look for 2-star Razors, Shadowthing, 2-star Lone Druid, as many Lone Druids as we can get, or even other 2-stars like Beastmaster or Queen of Pain that deals quite a bit of AoE damage. Our target here is to not win the fight 100%, is to clear as much units as we can during this stage that we don't lose that much health. Because funny or not, we don't need to win the game, we just need to not lose as badly as everybody else, because we have a late game strategy. So here we got some goblin, bounty, and with Lucas and druids and elves are terrible for us. We lose quite heavily because of the summon units, and this entire phase of this game, at this stage, I am rolling. So as you can see, we lost to Philip Jr. because he got a 3-star clockwork already, and this shows you that he's pretty lucky. I'm not sure if he's rolling or not, but he's actually pretty lucky with his rolls. Because we're actually spending our gold rolling. We haven't got our first 3-star yet. And I think this is round 23, and I'm still rolling. Rolling again. I have pretty terrible ping over here. As you can see, I have 300 plus ping playing Europe server, which is okay with me, but it really affects me when I'm rolling, and we don't get enough time to spend all of our gold. Because of the lag, of course. And here we're versing a knight player, and yeah, we get devastated. We don't lose too crazily, but we lose a chunk of health. 11. So our health went from 85% when the round started earlier, I think around round 18-ish, to 45%. We're still top 3 because the reason is our objective is to not lose too heavily, but to lose steadily. We don't want to lose, of course, but that's something we can't change as a goblin build at this stage. But as you can see, after spending 4 rounds rolling, I got my first timber saw, which by all means it is very lucky, but at the same time we're rolling. So to summarize, to highlight one point here is, with other builds which I'll be sharing with you guys, I will be using the same strategy of rolling, because this is what one of the top Chinese player currently top world 10, who has a 60% of chance being top 3 in every game. He's been rolling on level 7 and level 8 with all his games, and most of the game he has at least 3 or 4 3-stars, and he tends to be on top 3 most of the time. And the reason we're rolling at level 8 instead of level 7 is that at level 8 we're actually looking for all the legendaries, like the off chance of any legendary that comes. When any legendary that comes, we're happy to be replacing a 2-star bounty, a 2-star clockwork for those legendaries. And to explain why, although yes, we want goblin synergy, no, but we kind of know. So to explain why, a 2-star bounty hunter usually appears at level 4 or 5, a 2-star clockwork as well. Those are early game units. In the late game, any legendary would replace them and provide more usefulness to the board, given the fact we can tank for them to cast his spells off. Also, we're looking for the off chance to be getting Techies at level 8. It's very rare, but our main objective is to get 3-star goblins. Anything else that comes is a bonus. For example, Shadowfiend that comes, Lone Druid that comes, we keep them and we fuse them. We put 1 2-star goblins back and we'll keep rolling. So round 25, we're still rolling, and we got the second Lone Druid up. We're going to take some goblins back. So each time we got a new upgrade, we're going to put them down and take some goblins back until the goblins hits 3-star. Rolling on 27, got in the Shadowfiend. As you can see, I replaced the Razor with Shadowfiend, but here I'm prioritizing on all the goblins. So yeah, reversed someone else who are very strong actually, and he's also running goblins, as you can see, which is kind of devastating to us because we're rolling in a pool that's stolen by 2 players. Here we got 2 bounty hunter. I could lock this one, or I could do a desperate summon to get a pair, to remove a pair, which to get something I needed. Now I'm doing a desperate summon, and that's not what I want. I got a Tinker, which is nice. We got a 3-star Tinker. I have replaced the Tinker with the bounty hunter with a 3-star Tinker. And as you can see, I rolled into my savings because my health is getting scarily low. Once you go down below 30%, you really want to roll into your savings, or even earlier, around 40%, because you want to keep those health points. So I'm rolling into my savings. I'm still rolling because I know I need key units to help me in this set of the game. I'm going to replace Bounty, Clockwork with any unit that comes handy. So here with Versian Druid, and because we have our first 3-star Timber, we actually lose, but we don't lose that badly. And yeah, I'm going to show you here. We lost to the Druid, that's a massive counter to us, but we only lost by 3 units. Which, yeah, it is 6 health, but we're not losing too terribly right now. And yes, we rolled into our 3rd Bounty Hunter at round 30. Our 3rd 3-star, that is. So right now our saving is pretty still stable, and I actually forgot I had extra unit, but because it's a neutral round, I got kind of lucky over here. We got some item, which nothing too great. So this is what I want to highlight. At round 31 is usually when we need a power spike. So now I'm gonna level to level 9. After level to level 9, what I call this is the desperate rolls of the units that I need, which is any legendaries, any upgrade, and we want Techies. We got our second Shadowfiend to 2-star. So what I want to show you is, once this round starts, here. This is our formation when the round starts at round 31. Usually in my Goblin games, we don't get this strong formation ever at this stage of the game, unless we're super duper lucky. Because what happened is, we got to level 9 super fast, we rolled for Goblin Techies, and we kind of ignore all the other goblins that came to us because we were kind of out of space, so our mind is not set to be getting 3-star units because we know it's so difficult to get all of them. Because our objective is set right at the start at round 21, we want 3 stars. We have been working towards it until this point. So right now, although I don't have a Techies, my board is strong enough. I have some great AoE and 2 summoning units. I'm looking at another Razor that might be coming, and maybe a 2-star Disruptor. So I'm stacking AoEs because I know my units are super tanky. Let me show you this fight as a good example. Let's count how many Ravage this Tide did. That's 1 Ravage, that's 2 Ravage, and surprisingly he's got a Refresher. So we ate 3 Ravages. And usually a game like this, after eating 3 Ravages, annihilated. We'll probably lose like 22 points of life. And luckily enough, with our tank units, we managed to only lose about how much life? 11 life, which was pretty heavy to our case, but we didn't get wiped. Of course, Techies would have helped massively over here. Again, we're running desperately now. We don't care about savings. We want legendaries. We want units that help support. Enigma, which is excellent. Gyro, excellent as well. So what we're doing now is we're replacing any units in comparison that's not as of value. So Lone Druid here, let me show you. Here I took the Clockwork back, I took the Lone Druid back. This is because Gyro and Enigma does some great AoE damage. This is sustained AoE pure damage, this is burst nuke damage, and on top of the Shadow thing I should have some great AoE damage to kill most of the units. And if I can kill most of the units, my 3 stars can follow up and clean up. So this is the idea. Let's have a look. I have a quite strong board, except I don't have Techies. And again, my Clockwork still sitting here waiting to be 3 star. The moment I get Clockwork to 3 star, I'm gonna replace him with the Lone Druid. So I'm gonna take the Lone Druid off and put the Clockwork down. Here, as you can see, massive AoEs from our side, 2 Shadow Thing, 1 Enigma. So we managed to whittle down most of the units, and whatever is left, our remaining units can take care of them. So right now, the dilemma is, although I don't have Techies, my 3 star units are carrying me into the late game until I find the Techies. Now I found the Clockwork, I'm gonna sell the Lone Druid, take him back, and now I'm sitting in a waiting room waiting for only 3 units. As you know, 1 is Techies, 1 is Enigma, 1 is Shadow Thing, and 1 is Gyro. That's 4 units actually. Also, I'm looking for Alchemist. And a little positioning. Any legendary that's 2 star, I'll put them at the front except Gyrocopter, because I want those legendaries to be taking damage and casting the spells off as quickly as possible. This is a great fight as well. They had upper hand with Disruptor. A great silence, but we followed up because we're tanking enough. Because we're 3 star units, we tanked everything for the Enigma's Midnight Pros to take effect, for the pure damage to hit through. Now, we're left with 4 players. We're at round 34, we still haven't found Techies, but our board is so strong looking without Techies, it's almost game over for all the players the moment I find Techies. But if I don't, I'm still surviving long enough to be in the top 4 position. Again, we're looking at the triple Ravage Tide here. They ravaged twice, 3 times. Let me go back here to this entire replay. So what's going to happen is the 2 tides are going to ravage 3 times. Disruptor is going to, that's about, I think that's about close to 600 damage. Disruptor is going to AoE for 600 damage. So he just dealt about 1200 AoE damage, but our 3 stars have about 2000 plus health. So that means after his AoE nuke damage, and even after this bolt, our 3 stars are actually still surviving with 1/3 of health. And that was so crucial for the Gyrocopter and Enigma to do rest of their damage with AoE. As you can see, we're whittling them down because we're good spread and we have enough health pool to tank all those nuke damage. This would be a different case if he had a Deucer compared to the Tide, because Deucer stuns for longer and increased physical damage taken as well. Round 35, we're still rolling for Techies and we're not finding any. Notice how we managed to survive the top 3 position with this particular method because of strong 3 star lineup. Now let's have a look here. We're going to be fighting round 35 with ease because Enigma really excels in terms of fighting neutral monsters, and I suggest everyone to keep at least 1 star Enigma. Just swap him in for the neutral monsters, especially for trolls. It will do surprising amount of pure damage and based on HP. So this is the round. Round 36 is our savior round, because this is the round that we're going to be hitting to Techies. We're going to be rolling with whatever cash we have remaining every turn with the desperate rolling at level 9. We found Techies, I sold Shadow Thing, going to replace Techies up, and knowing that he couldn't defeat me even when I didn't have Techies, I know I have a solid game at this point. And yeah, pretty much we win with pretty much convincing victory right now, and we just defeated this other player by killing him with 4 units. So right now we're sitting comfortably about to win the game simply because we have sustained in the mid game into the late game and carried ourselves into the Techies at round 36, which is very crazy for a goblin build to be surviving this long without Techies. And this triple ravage guy actually managed to survive. He couldn't kill us at this point, so he's pretty much out of gas. So I'm going to watch the final fight on his part to see if he managed to survive. If he does, I'm going to swap my positioning. And as you can see, triple ravage. He didn't have Enigma. Gyrocopter couldn't do enough damage to us. We're so tanky. And we won the game. So that was the end of the round and end of the game first. So I'm going to be quick in terms of summarizing this time. So there are 3 things I want to highlight. The first thing is our initial build works pretty well into round 15 if you have okay RNG. I don't recommend rolling every time in a game, but sometimes you're only rolling because you already have 2-star. You already have 2 bounty hunter, you already have 2 tinker that's waiting, and you just need 1 tiny upgrade to really excel. If you are on losing streak, maybe rolling is not the best thing because you don't want to get the power to stop your losing streak. So over here is when this strategy really excels. Round 21 to round 31 is when we're rolling for our 3 stars. We can do this with a lot of different builds, say trolls or elves and everything else. But with goblins, I find it really helpful to be rolling for 3-star goblins. As you can see, once we hit our 3-star goblins, we start to lose less health. And that's what differentiated us from the harder players. And this was a pretty unlucky game for me in terms of rolling for Techies. Imagine I had Techies much earlier when I was rolling at level 8. Even 1%, I rolled about 100 times with 1%. And even at level 9, I rolled about 5 turns before we got to Techies. So although this was an unlucky game with Techies, everything else worked smoothly because of our strategy. You can see here we got Bounty Hunter, and once Bounty Hunter gets to level 3, 2000 health, which is a little tank first, a little damage deal first. So yeah, to summarize this entire commentary guide, I think this is a great strategy we can apply with a lot of the combinations that we're rolling at level 7 and level 8 for some crucial units that get to 3-star. And once we move forward with that, we have a pretty solid mid-game to late game that actually propels us into the 4th or 3rd or even top 2 position. And this works especially well after testing a few games with goblins. What I'll do is I'll show you a similar game with goblins tomorrow once I get time. And in this other game, I won't be rolling for 3-star goblins, but rather I'll roll for some other units while I'm looking for Techies. So I'll keep that as a surprise for you guys tomorrow. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, find it helpful. And I really did enjoy this game. I find this strategy really helpful by studying the top players in the world. So yeah, thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like. Leave in the comments anything you would like me to do or anything you want me to improve on. I'll definitely get back to you. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.